Over the last decade, I've had a chance to meet a lot of high net worth individuals, having conversations with them about making a charitable gift to an organization that's important to them. And in the process of getting to know many of these people, I've learned some things that are incredibly inspiring and encouraging. They've helped shape how I think about life and generosity and interacting with other people. So I want to share those 5 lessons with you today. The first one is the concept of calling or vocation, generosity as vocation or calling. Many of the people that I've met over the years, they've been entrusted with an immense amount of wealth. They worked very hard for it oftentimes. Some of them inherited a portion of it. The money came into their hands in a variety of ways, but oftentimes it was hard earned. And the part that's fascinating to me, and I heard this over and over again, is that so many of the individuals would explain to me that they believed that wealth was entrusted to them, that it wasn't just theirs to use in whatever way they wanted just to buy bigger and better things, that they actually saw it as a calling. They saw it as a responsibility. They saw it as a form of stewardship. They are stewarding that which was entrusted to them. And their calling is to use those resources to bless and benefit others, to maximize the positive impact or benefit. Now, of course, many of these individuals were thinking about those things that aligned with their core beliefs and convictions because they believe that the world will be better off if it leans into those beliefs and those convictions that they hold. And yet, there's this really deep sense of calling that's encouraging and inspiring to me. Many of these individuals had very nice things. They might have had a nice car and a nice home, and they went on nice vacations and so forth. But when you recognized how much wealth some of these individuals had, they could have lived far more extravagant lives had they chosen to do so. And yet they were choosing to use a sizable amount of that wealth to bless and benefit others. And they did it joyfully. They saw it again as a deep calling, as a responsibility. And many of these were people of faith who believed that this was their responsibility before God to take what he'd entrusted to them and to use it to bless others. The second thing is I would often thank people. I would write thank you letters. I would talk to people in person, and I would thank them for their generosity. And what's incredible to me is how many people beat me to the punchline. That the people who had just given incredibly generous gifts to support an organization where I worked or where I volunteered or that I was representing, that these people would thank me. They would thank me for being a part of the organization. They would thank me for the opportunity for them to give and support something that's making a difference in the world. So not only were they generous, but they were grateful for the chance to be generous. They were grateful for the chance to be part of movements and organizations and causes that are blessing and benefiting other people in a way that was important to them. And then there's this third one. They have the money and they know what it's like to have a sizable amount of money. And it was nearly universal, is they realized that money was absolutely not the key to happiness. Now, I know this could sound a little bit cliche. There's always this nagging idea for many people, this idea that if I just have enough money, I'll finally be happy. But in many conversations, as I've talked to high net worth individuals, they certainly think that life is better with money than without, and they appreciate that oftentimes in my conversations with them. But they also recognize that money is not the key to happiness. And they're trying to invest themselves in those things, and they're devoting themselves to those things that have deeper meaning, greater significance than money itself. Often people of deep faith, people who value deep and meaningful relationships with others, they value their family, they value causes that matter. They want to be a part of using their gifts, talents, abilities, knowledge, time to help other people and to do it in a way that connects with some of their passions and their gifts. But definitely, these are individuals, as I've gotten to know many of them, who understand that life is about so much more than money. And while it's great to have it, it's not a wonderful foundation. Once you have a wonderful foundation, money can be very useful and it can be that calling, but it's not the foundation itself. And then the fourth one is there's a craving for learning that I've noticed in a lot of high net worth individuals that I've met. I mean, a really deep craving for learning, so much so that when I first started meeting some individuals, especially people on the very high end of high net worth, I was a bit intimidated. These are oftentimes very driven people. And I think I used to frame that more around they were just driven in a business sense or a business way. But what I came to recognize and appreciate from so many of these individuals is they were just driven to learn. They were deeply curious people. They wanted to learn, they wanted to grow. They asked tough questions. And that's the part that can be intimidating to some people who are not used to it. Because as you're talking to someone, they are asking really tough questions, just cutting through things and wanting to get to the heart of the matter. And I've even found that with a sizable number of individuals, there's interest in skipping the small talk and getting into the really deep, meaningful stuff, which for me is so refreshing because that's how I'm wired. If it were up to me, I would skip all of the niceties and let's just talk about the things we care about. And let's talk about things that really matter. And let's ask tough questions and then try to explore and find the answers together. Well, I found that to be very welcome. And I found it to be something that was quite commonplace in many of the high net worth individuals that I've had a chance to meet. And then the fifth thing is a craving for really deep, meaningful, authentic relationships. I did find in my conversations with some high net worth individuals where they would candidly explain to me when I got to know them that there's something a little bit lonely about having a lot of wealth and always wondering if the people that are reaching out to you are doing so just because you have a lot of wealth or if they have a genuine interest in you as a person. And there's that kind of question mark that I found present with a number, but not all, of the high net worth individuals. And as a result, I think that could be one, but not the only reason why I found so many of these people who valued really deep, meaningful, trusting relationships. And they had high expectations of themselves and others in those relationships, especially when it came to integrity and honesty and truthfulness. Just saying things the way they are, not putting a sugar coating on it, not trying to go around and not directly answering the question. They really valued people who are willing to speak things truthfully. And one of the things that surprised me is how open many of the individuals were to genuine feedback, wanting to know how they could do better and how they could get better, and actually asking advice of me. And that leads to a wonderful, meaningful, authentic friendship and relationship that is something that extends beyond a couple of meetings. It's the kind of thing that continues over years and even decades. And those are five things that have really intrigued me, encouraged me, and inspired me because these are the kinds of things that I want to be a part of my life. Whether or not I'm a high net worth individual, I value these things. This idea of gratitude, of seeing generosity as a calling, of realizing that money can be a blessing, but it's not a good foundation, of craving learning and really leaning into curiosity, and of valuing deep, authentic, trusting relationships. Seems to me those are good things for all of us.